Hello, it's Crafty Carol here again with another project for you using the beautiful Beary Cute bundle, which has got a lovely stamp set with some lovely sentiments and pictures and a punch which matches the bear, this particular walking bear. So the others, frankly, are easy to cut out if you just wanted to fussy cut them so. But today, I showed you how to make a lovely card last week. Today, we're making a box. We're making this box is just a simple fold lid box, so it just opens up and inside you've got, I hope it reads ho ho ho, that's my idea, with a gift of 3 lovely commonly liked chocolates, I better say. I don't know, I'm supposed to advertise things, but they fit in. If you wanted, you could use something like Lindor, they would fit as well. So how to make this box. It's actually a lot more simple than it looks. I haven't got anywhere to put it. There we go. What I've used, you need a full sheet of card, and this is just an A4 sheet, and you'll use more or less the whole sheet. And then I've used for the H's, which I've already cut out of gold foil, I've put an adhesive back on, so they're going to be easy to put on because these are gorgeous, but they're a little bit fiddly if you haven't got an adhesive backing on your cardstock. These are the alphabet a la mode dies, so you've got all the letters, and you've got doubles of commonly used letters. So there's 2 E's, there's 2 A's, for example, there's 2 N's, there's 2 R's. So that's really helpful when you're cutting out people's names and things. And you've also got some of the other letters like the the German double S thing, the C with the little curly, I don't know what these are called properly, but say for Spanish or whatever, and an O and E together there. Plus you've got all the numbers. It's a wonderful set, so it's very definitely worth getting and keeping. Mine's never going anywhere because I use it a lot. They're a really great size as well, as you can see. So they're about, I don't know how big they are actually. I seem to have lost my ruler as well, which is crazy, but well, I've got this here, hang on. Yes, they're about 4 centimetres tall, which is just perfect for most cards and gifts. So to make this box, you need a sheet of DSP, which is at least 15 centimetres wide and approximately 13 or 14 deep. I shall cut this down to show you. Okay, so any coordinating colours will do. You can make this in any colour. I'm using the light colour because it matches the Beary Cute paper that I've used. This is the Walk in the Park DSP, which is the giving to charity thing to buy. So you can buy it, it's right at the front of the mini catalogue, and I think it's £2.50 from every purchase goes towards a good cause. And here in the UK, that's going to the Salvation Army, which is wonderful. So do buy plenty of that. Anyway, let's get on with making this box. So the first thing you're going to do is cut down this piece, and it needs to be 19.5 by 23. So just move those up a bit so I've got room. We're going to need the arm out, and we're going to first of all cut it at 23. So do this longer cut first. I'll explain why in a minute. So it's 23. So we're going to cut that by 19.5. So 19.5, making sure it's nice and steady at the top there, so it's straight. That bit we're not going to use, so we can get rid of that. So that is our main piece for it. We're also going to cut this piece down to something slightly smaller, and this we're going to cut to 17.8. So we just have a little bit there, which can be used for a sentiment or something, by 6.4. So we're just going to take a little, it's just a little tiny bit off the side of this piece. Show it straight again. So it's literally just a little trim. You probably don't need to bother with that too much, but you do want it to fit the box, so be quite careful with that. Why am I putting it away? We still need this. So we're now going to do some scoring. So for this smaller piece, very simple. Move your cutting blade out of the way, and you're just going to score this at 1 centimetre on each side. And I find it easiest to use the measurements at the right hand side of the blade, so I can move it along to 1, and it gives me a piece to hold while I score. Then we're going to do it at 1 centimetre on all 4 sides for this piece. Okay, so that's my insert piece. And then we're going to score this bigger piece. Now you're going to score it on the short side. We're going to score it at 3.5. So just move that along to there. So this is 3.5. We're scoring all the way down. Then at 8. Score again. Then at 11.5. And finally at 16. And for 16, you need to have your arm out because otherwise the top bit of the arm gets in the way. And 16 is right on the join, if you like, right on the actual hinge bit of your scoreboard. So that's 3.5, 8, 11.5 and 16. Then we're going to turn it round and score again at 3.5 and at 19.5, which is 3.5 from the other end. So you could just turn it round and do it 3.5 from both ends, whichever you prefer. Right, so that's done my cutting and scoring for now. So now I want you to fold and burnish all of those pieces. Right, so this is the piece that's going to form your box. And you've got a front flap, then you've got, so you've got a front flap, the top, the back side, the bottom, and the upright bit for here. So to make the box, we're actually going to cut down, what's my scissors, here we go. We're going to cut down through all of these side creases, but only as far as that first score line. So that's my first one. And I'm cutting straight down these, and I'll show you why in a minute. So straight down those two, and then cut all the rest as well. Okay, so now you've got 3 smaller ones and 2 bigger ones. And the 3 smaller ones, you're just going to take a little tiny piece out of each side on these first 2. So on that one, I'm going to take a tiny bit off at each side. So we're just V'ing them like we would for making any box. See how it's just, hold that down and you can see there's just a little V taken from there. Same on this one. So just taking a little tiny V out from both sides. Now on this final one, I'm just taking a V out of the first side here, there. Okay, so we do that exactly the same on the other side. But remember when you're doing this, it's a mirror image. So you don't want to, you want to make sure you're getting the V's right. So this is your top flap one. So this one we only take from that inside piece. The others we take them from both sides. So bits everywhere. There we have the basic piece for the box. Now on your smaller piece, you've got 4 score lines. So again, we're going to bend and burnish. That's all 4. And then we're going to take out each of the corners just by cutting them out. This piece is the insert, and this is going to have the holes in it. So I've got my ho, ho, ho. So you can see that's just under 16. So I'm just going to move that over to there and going to make a very, very light pencil mark, roughly at 5 and roughly at 10. And that's as near as I can make it, divided into 3. And we're having ho, ho, ho. So we want the circle cut out towards the side of each of those so that it reads across. Yeah, does that make sense? Because you don't want it in the middle, because if you have it in the middle, there's nowhere for the H to go. So where I've marked it there, I want to put my So you can see the mark there. So I want my circle to be in the middle, and I'm using an old punch here. You could use a die, but you just want to punch out or die cut out just to the right side of each of those, on the right side of each section, if you like. We'll try and get it in the middle as well. And then this last one, obviously leave a little bit to the side. We don't want to go right to the very corner. There we go. So I've left a little bit down there, and you can see I've got them towards the right-hand side of each of those. So I've got even circles. So now I can rub out my pencil marks because I don't need those anymore. And I've cut out my die cut H's already with an adhesive back. So I just need to take that off, or put, if you're doing it without the adhesive back, obviously put some tiny globs of glue on. And then I can stick each of these straight, hopefully, next to my O's. So there I have my ho ho ho. So we're now going to make up the box. Now the first thing to do with the box is we need to stick on the designer series paper before we make up the box. Okay, don't leave it. So this is my folding flat bit. So I want to have some paper on that, some paper on the second piece on the back. The only piece I don't need to stick paper on is the base. I actually did put some on the front there as well. So the paper that you needs to be 15 centimetres wide by, as I said, about 13. So that's, it's well over 13, so I can do it this way actually, and then I get 2 out of this piece. So 15 centimetres wide. Cut up there. And then we need 3 pieces that are 3 centimetres deep. So I'll turn it and cut at 3 by using, again, the mark on the right because it's easier. So we want 3 of those. Now, I'm using paper that it doesn't matter about the pattern. If you have a patterned paper and you want to keep the seam going the right way, then you need to cut a 3, a 4, and then the last 2 3s. So you can do it that way, but I want 3 3s and then finally a 4. So I can use the other side of the trimmer just to cut my 4 piece. There we go. So that's the end of my trimmer. So I've got 3 pieces that are 3 centimetres wide and 1 at 4. So my 4th piece, my 4 centimetre wide piece goes on the top of the box. So the first 3 go on the bottom 3 pieces, and the last one goes on this piece. That's the bottom of the box, so we don't need to put one on there. We could if you wanted, but we don't need to. So your 15.5 piece, you can see mine's a little bit short, but I've left the same gaps there. So that's my top base, and so I need to make my base up first. So to do that, I'm going to put some, I'm actually going to use Fast Fuse, or the Stamp and Seal. This is an old Fast Fuse, which I'm just using up. So Stamp and Seal on this. So 2 little lines here. Oops, getting it everywhere, all over me. Move and tick to put it on. So on both of those tabs and on both of these tabs. So glue here. And then carefully, to make sure it's properly lined up, stick these inside the side piece. So lining it up carefully, you can see there at the corners so that it's nice and straight, and hold it down. So again, lining up at the corners. Doesn't matter which order, you can do front then back or back then front, it doesn't actually matter. So that forms the base of our box. So then we've got the lid, and we're not going to stick these down too much, but I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of glue on these pieces, just put it across like that. These are just going to stick inside, and again, line it up nicely. So they're just going to stick inside there. You can leave those loose if you want, but I found it was better. And then they just shut like that. So there is your box together. Now, you'll notice, I should have done this before I put it together, but it is worth just putting a little notch in the front piece. So again, using your punch, you can just use that in the center somewhere, just a little thumb notch. So do that really before you put the box together, but I forgot. Okay, so there it is. You could, if you wanted, put some of the DSP on the end. I haven't bothered, but you could do if you wanted. Put 2 tiny pieces on the end there, and they need to be 3.5 by, I think it's 4. 3.5 by 4, and you can put 2 tiny bits on the end. I haven't bothered. So it's about putting the rest of the box together. So this inside piece, you just fold those bits together. You're not sticking these at all. It's just going to sit in the box. So fold those in and press it gently into the box, and you'll find it fits beautifully. So it just remains to put the sweets in and to decorate the top. So there is my Ho 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 box, and I'm just going to decorate the top. So I'm going to, on that one I actually embossed Merry Christmas. I think I'll just stamp it this time for speed. And I had already stamped a bear on this scrap piece, so I just need to cut him out, punch him out rather. So line him up. When you line them up, you can line them up and just close the punch slightly on it, adjust it so that you're really happy, and keep just a little bit of pressure on, and then use both hands to punch, and that actually punches out really nicely. So for this piece, I'm just going to put a little bit of just going to cut through the middle like that to put a little tag on the end here. And you'll see here, you can't see it, but this is the wrong side, if you like. It's got an upturned cut. So if you do get a piece of card like that, then just use your bone folder, get rid of any bend in the edge of the card. So there is my bear. I'm going to stick these on in a minute. I'm going to actually use dimensionals. I want some interest on that box. So we'll have the bear on one end. Oops. Well, I could have him there, couldn't I? I might have him this way around today. So we'll have the bear that side, and then I'll have my Merry Christmas the other. I'm going to have it up to the end of that, roughly. Now I'm going to have it a bit further because I'm going to put a bow on. So there's my Merry Christmas. You could leave it like that. I want to just add a bow for more interest. So this is some old ribbon that I happen to have. So my 2 rabbit ears, pull my bow together, then I can adjust it to the size I want. Think about that for my box. Trim it off. Go that way. There we go. I'll just, perhaps a little bit smaller. There we go. Then I'm going to stick them up at the top with using a glue dot. So 2 very different looks. This one, obviously I didn't bother putting a bear on because I already had some on my DSP. This one I have. You can add whatever else you want. You could put some of the gems on. I might actually add a couple of gems to that top one. Let's have a couple of blue gems, shall we? Just to set it off. I'll have one there, and And another little one up here somewhere, or possibly on the eye for Christmas. Quite like doing that. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Bits everywhere. Let me tidy the desk a bit so you can see it. So these are my boxes filled up with lovely goodies saying ho ho ho. Just my table favours for Christmas. So I hope you enjoyed that. You can play around, do different decorations, you can put all sorts of other things on, totally up to you. But I hope you enjoy that basic box, and I will have all the instructions and measurements on my website at craftycarolscards.co.uk. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the project, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.